Most people think bad money decisions come from ignorance, not knowing enough, not being disciplined enough. But that's not what actually happens. Some of the smartest people you know, engineers, doctors, managers, people who solve complex problems all day, make shockingly bad money decisions, not once, but repeatedly. And the reason isn't stupidity, it's pressure. Picture this. Average Joe isn't reckless. He's careful. He reads reviews, he compares prices, he plans. But tonight, Joe is tired. The kind of tired that lives behind the eyes. The kind that doesn't go away with sleep. He opens his banking app just to check. The number is lower than expected. Again. Nothing dramatic happened. No emergency, no disaster, just life. Rent, food, subscriptions he forgot about, a car payment that never seems to shrink. Joe stares at the screen longer than he should. His chest tightens. This is the moment people don't talk about, because this is where the brain changes. When financial stress enters the room, logic doesn't leave immediately. It fades, quietly. Your brain shifts into survival mode, not build a future mode, not optimize decisions mode. Survive. In survival mode, the brain wants relief, fast relief. That's why smart people suddenly stop acting smart. Joe knows the math. He's done it before. But tonight, math feels heavy, slow, unhelpful. What feels lighter is distraction, relief, escape. So Joe scrolls, not because he's careless, but because his brain is overwhelmed. And here's the dangerous part. Financial stress doesn't make you reckless right away, it makes you narrow. Your world shrinks. You stop thinking in months, then weeks, then days, eventually hours. That's when the dumb decisions happen. Not because you don't know better, but because your brain is trying to breathe. Joe tells himself something small. I'll deal with this later. Just this once. I deserve a break. Smart words used for the wrong job. And each time he says them, the loop tightens. Because relief now means pressure later. But the brain under stress doesn't care about later. It cares about now. And that's how intelligent people slowly build problems they can't explain. Not overnight, not dramatically. Quietly, logically, step by step. And the scariest part, when you're inside financial stress, you don't feel irrational. You feel reasonable. Financial stress doesn't shout. It whispers. It shows up as background noise. A low hum you stop noticing, until it's everywhere. Average Joe doesn't wake up thinking about money, but it's already there. In the shower, in traffic, in the pause before opening his email. The brain hates uncertainty, and money stress is uncertainty with teeth. So the brain starts cutting corners. Not laziness, efficiency. Under pressure, your brain stops asking, what's the best decision? It asks, what decision reduces discomfort right now? That's a huge difference. This is why people under financial stress become impulsive, not because they've lost control, but because their control system is overloaded. Joe tells himself he'll think about it later, because later feels safer than now. But later never comes. Here's something most people don't realize. When stress stays long enough, the brain rewires priorities. Long-term rewards lose their emotional weight. They still make sense intellectually, they just stop feeling real. Short-term relief, however, feels urgent, physical, necessary. That's why financial stress makes people do things that look insane from the outside. Take on expensive commitments, ignore obvious warning signs, double down instead of stepping back. Not because they're bad at math, but because math doesn't calm fear. Relief does. Average Joe scrolls his phone again. Not for anything specific, just something to take the edge off. This is where the loop deepens. Stress narrows attention. Narrow attention hides consequences. Hidden consequences create bigger stress, and the cycle feeds itself. The cruel part? From the inside, it all feels logical. Joe isn't thinking, I'm making a bad decision. He's thinking, I just need to get through this week. That sentence has destroyed more financial stability than ignorance ever has, because this week keeps moving. Another bill, another surprise, another quiet panic moment no one sees. And slowly, something changes. Joe stops trusting himself, not consciously, subtly. He avoids numbers, avoids statements, avoids conversations, because every reminder feels like a threat. Financial stress doesn't just drain money, it drains mental bandwidth.
And when your bandwidth is gone, even smart people start operating on instinct. Not strategy, not job knowledge, instinct. Survive first, explain later. And that's the trap. Because by the time the pressure eases, the damage is already baked in. The question isn't why smart people do dumb things. The real question is, why do we expect stressed brains to behave like calm ones? Before we go deeper, if this feels uncomfortably familiar, take a second and like the video. Not for the algorithm, but so more people quietly dealing with this pressure realize they're not broken. They're human. Now, back to the story.
Financial stress doesn't just change decisions, it changes identity. At some point, average Joe stops asking, "What should I do?" and starts asking, "What can I get away with?" Not in a criminal way, in a survival way. He delays things he wants handled immediately. He ignores numbers he once checked carefully. He tells himself, "Future Joe will figure it out." Future Joe becomes a stranger. And here's the quietest shift of all. Joe stops feeling smart. Not because he isn't, but because stress keeps proving something painful. That knowing better doesn't always help. So the brain adapts again. It lowers expectations. It normalizes tension, normalizes anxiety, normalizes living slightly on edge. This is how financial stress becomes invisible. From the outside, Joe looks fine. He shows up, he jokes, he functions. But inside, his mind is constantly negotiating. If I just make it to Friday, if nothing unexpected happens, if I don't think about it too much. This constant negotiation is exhausting, and exhaustion makes people easy to fool. Not by scams, by themselves. Joe starts believing small lies that feel soothing. That's just how life is now. Everyone's dealing with this. I'll fix it when things calm down. But things don't calm down on their own. Pressure doesn't disappear. It accumulates. And one day, something small breaks the illusion. A declined card, a warning email, a number that's impossible to ignore. Joe feels the panic rise fast, sharp, embarrassing. And in that moment, people expect clarity, a wake-up call, a dramatic turnaround. But stress doesn't create clarity. It creates urgency. The brain wants out, right now. That's why the biggest mistakes often happen after the breaking point, not before. Desperation makes shortcuts look like solutions. Promises look like exits. Risk looks like relief. This is why intelligence isn't armor. Because stress doesn't attack intelligence. It bypasses it. It goes straight for emotion, survival, fear, hope. Average Joe isn't weak for this. He's responding exactly how a human brain responds under pressure. The tragedy isn't that smart people make bad decisions. The tragedy is that they blame themselves for reacting normally to abnormal stress. And that shame keeps the cycle alive. Because shame makes people quiet. And quiet pressure grows best in silence. Joe never needed to be smarter. He needed less pressure pretending to be normal. And once you see that, you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking a far more dangerous question. How many people around me are carrying this without anyone knowing? If this story felt uncomfortably familiar, that's the point. If it made you pause for even a second and think, "That's me," then hit the like button so more people can see this. Subscribe to Average Joe Invests if you want more real money stories. Not advice, not hype, just honest psychology about how we actually think under pressure. Drop a comment and tell me your favorite moment from this video. Was it the identity shift, the survival mode, the "I'll deal with it later" loop? And if you know someone who's quietly carrying financial stress right now, share this with them. They might need it more than they're saying.